We are zeroing in on reopening America this morning. Governors and mayors across the United States are grappling with the balancing act of getting people back to work while maintaining safety amid coronavirus. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo articulating the almost impossible decision yesterday. Watch.
There's a cost of staying closed, no doubt. Economic cost, personal cost. There's also a cost of reopening quickly. Either option has a cost. You stay closed, there's a cost. You reopen quickly, and there's a cost. The faster we reopen, the lower the economic cost, but the higher the human cost, because the more lives lost. That, my friends, is the decision we are really making. What is that balance? What is that trade-off? Because it is very real.
And joining me right now is someone who handled America's largest city during another crisis. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani is here. Rudy, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Very nice to see you, Maria. How are you?
I'm okay, staying safe and strong, and I hope you are too. How do you reopen this city, this state, this country, in the face of all of this worry and speculation that we keep going and this gets worse?
You know, a year ago at this time, I came down to work, and maybe I didn't come home that night. Who knows, right? I mean, life is faced with risk. It is true the risk is higher, a little higher, but it's considerably less than it was a month and a half ago. And whenever we reopen, there's going to be the risk that there's a somewhat more disease, a different disease starts to spread, something else happens, or God forbid you get cancer. I mean, life is not without risk. If we wanted to reduce all risk in life, we'd just end the economy. So the president's making a very, very difficult but very wise decision. He's kept this country closed quite a long time. 6 weeks? The largest economy in the world, shut down, unproductive completely, and most of the rest of the world. We can't sustain this any longer. Also, I heard Andrew's statement before, which is correct. There are balances here. But I think one of the things we never calculated is the balance and the cost to health of locking people up for that long. We have considerably more, problems, emotional problems, physical problems, suicide, abuse, something we don't like to talk about. But the reality is we were facing a problem of domestic abuse anyway. Now you lock the door and you put that man there who likes to beat up the woman, and it gets a lot worse. Children, emotional problems. For some children are more fragile than others. So I think one of the things we never really calculated going into it, because we had to go into it so fast, was this was a very costly thing we were doing in terms of human health, human psychology, emotion, and everything else.
Right.
So there are trade-offs all over. And I think the president struck the right balance at the core of it when it was really hitting us in a way that we didn't even understand. He closed us down, which was a gutsy decision to make. And it's just as gutsy to take us out of it. But Americans are courageous, and we're going to face risk in order to fight this. We can't let COVID-19 destroy us. And if we stay home, we continue to stay home, it's going to destroy us.
Look back to the sentiment and the behavior of people after 9/11. I remember that we were all afraid. We were all worried about terrorism. We were worried that they were going to hit us at another place. So we stopped shopping. We stopped going out. Can you compare the two and tell us how we got out of that, how we got the confidence to go back at our lives?
I can. That's a very good question, Maria. It's a very good question. You have to look at it this way. One was in some ways easier to get out of because there was somewhat of a continuing fear of another attack. But each day that went by, that fear got less and less and less. So basically, I was dealing with a problem of the past, and people worried about the very low percentage chance of another attack. And I immediately began reopening. I got Broadway to come back in 2 days, 3 days. A lot of the owners wanted to come back. A lot didn't want to come back.
Yes.
We had to go and send police officers to escort the performers. They were only about half full the first night, half full the second night. A week later, they were back to normal. I pushed baseball to come back.
And I will point this. I remember when the exchanges
David Letterman called
reopened,
me, asked me whether he should come back.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I
remember the following Monday, September 17th.
Dick was smarter than me.
Yeah, Dick Grasso led the reopening of the exchanges, and that was on the following Monday. But I think people got confidence and strength in seeing everybody that day on the podium ringing the bell, knowing that we were down but we were not out and that we would rise again. As the reopening happened, as the markets reopened, people got strength and confidence to go back at it.
Watch it happen now. Watch it happen now. This had to be extended, had to be elongated, because we had to keep people inside for a while. And frankly, consider this a 50-day attack, a 50-day terrorist attack. Well, we had to stay indoors so we didn't get hit by the bombs. Now we're more secure. We still may get hit by some bombs, but it's less dangerous than it was before. We have the medicine, medicines for it now. We have some control over it.
And hopefully a vaccine within a year. I mean, the president's being real optimistic about a vaccine by the end of the year. We hope so. I want to switch gears. We only have a couple seconds left, but I got to get your take on the fallout in the case of Michael Flynn. These newly unsealed documents really showed the FBI misconduct in the Flynn probe. We've been talking about this now for years. It's casting doubt on whether one of the special counsel's lawyer was in compliance with a court order. Now people are questioning. I had Lindsey Graham on and Jim Jordan and Trey Gowdy on this weekend, and they're all questioning the Mueller investigation to begin with. In May of 2017, when Robert Mueller was named special counsel, they still had no evidence, none, zero, of any collusion with Russia. So how come he was named special counsel and we had 3 years of this hysteria, Mayor?
Only been saying that for 2 years, Maria. Right. Totally illegitimate investigation.
Real quick, your reaction. Are we going to see accountability here, Rudy? I just want to see if we're going to see accountability.
Boy, the Flynn case should be dropped by the Justice Department, and those other people should be put under investigation. Comey, Strzok, possibly Brennan and Clapper. Did they know about it? And maybe in the White House itself. They were having meetings about it, darn it, so I want to know what those meetings were about. And I'd like to see some of these telephone conversations declassified so we can read them like the president did. And there's one. I'd also like to see Biden's telephone conversations with the president of the Ukraine declassified. I'd love to read those. I have an idea of what's in them.
Well,
it's just not creepy,
you heard
Joe.
Barack Obama said that should be off limits. Former President Barack Obama said. But Rudy, there is more to say here. We will have you back to talk about it. We so appreciate your time this morning, Rudy Giuliani.
Then President Trump should have been off limits. Double standard.
Well, there you go, Rudy. Good to see you, sir. Thank you so much. We will see you soon, Rudy Giuliani.